Hello, wonderful viewers, and as always, we bring you inspirational interviews. My guest today is Datti Baba-Ahmed. He was a former senator, but right now is keen to keep the African giant awake. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Okay, you were a senator, but I think it's important for people to always know where people start from. So I'm going to ask you, just tell me a bit about your growing up, your background. What was that like for you?
Growing up was very interesting way back then in Zaria.
Okay.
Schooling is what I will start with.
Okay.
I finished Kaduna Capital School, 81, finished Air Force Military School, 86.
Wow.
First degree from UNIMED,
Okay.
91. Second degree Masters in Economics,
Wow.
95 in Maiduguri.
Okay.
And MBA in Cardiff.
Wow.
96, and then I started my PhD in Westminster.
Wow.
97.
Okay.
By 99, I went back to Nigeria to write up my thesis.
Okay.
While in Nigeria, while in London, I worked at First Bank.
Okay.
Before then, in Nigeria, after NYSC in Abeokuta, I worked in Lagos.
Okay.
In the security printing and minting.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then in London, I worked at First Bank.
Okay.
The Finger Burger.
Okay.
UK.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Back in Nigeria, I had established Base Research and Data, which was a procurement consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
Later, I went into construction and real estate.
Okay.
By 2002, I had joined the then AMPP. 2003, I got elected into reps.
Okay.
2007, I lost my re-election bid to reps.
Okay.
Then I started a whole new career establishing a private university called Base University.
Okay.
It was licensed in 2011, and I was elected into the Senate also in 2011.
Okay. Okay.
Then the guy I defeated challenged me back in court.
Oh, wow.
And he got his seat back in 2012. Happily so.
Okay.
And, I kept busy at Base University. Kept taking it from one level to another.
Okay.
2015 came and I participated reasonably, voted, and I didn't contest in 2015.
Okay. Okay.
And now, having seen the situation that Nigeria is in, it has become a point of duty to contest.
Wow. Wow. I just wanted to know, at what point did you feel that you want to get into politics, you want to be part of the mechanism that operates the country?
2002.
Okay. Was there a particular reason as to why you felt did you feel there was a lack that you could fill?
Yeah, there was a general feeling of dissatisfaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So,
but when you see what is going on now, it makes child's play of what was then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And as a senator, what were some of your highlights? What would you say are some of the things you look back and you're very happy that you were able to take part in?
I actively participated in all and every debate on the floor.
Wow. Wow.
But in particular, I can recall sponsoring a motion about the prevalence of wrong medical diagnosis by Nigerian doctors. And so I got the Senate to frown at it.
Oh, wow.
And passed resolution accordingly.
That's a serious one.
Yeah.
That's a very serious one. Okay, we know...
Then I also, if you recall, I was in the Senate shortly after the Gulf of Mexico crisis.
Okay.
During which, by then, about $8 billion had already been committed in cleanup and compensation.
Wow.
And just then, $1 billion was being offered to the Niger Delta.
Wow.
That has suffered 50 years of pollution.
Wow.
So I cried out in the Senate to pass a resolution that it was grossly inadequate.
Okay. I mean, we're coming up to 2019 and you're not happy with the way Nigeria is going now. You feel you can add value to Nigeria, and now you're putting yourself forward for the position of president. What is it about you, would you like to say to Nigerians, out of all the other contestants, What is it about you that is going to make you the best man for that job?
Before I say it,
Okay.
let me just say that man proposes, God disposes. But what stands me apart from the others is that I mean what I say, and I do what I say.
You know, Nigeria is a very unique country, and the ethnicity is amazing. We've got so many different people in one space, as one country. If you become president, how would you ensure that all this ethnic unrest that we've heard in the past will not reoccur?
First of all, I am not able to see what ethnicity is because I'm sitting with you here. All I know is that you're a Nigerian. I don't see you as anything else but a Nigerian. That is how I am. Bringing people together is indeed something from the heart of the leader. If that leader is good, you see goodness transcend all the way in the country. But you need to have your security agencies performing, delivering the service they were meant for. In that case, you've got to get all your machinery working. That is a way of doing it. On the one side. On the other side, it's simple creating awareness, increasing enlightenment in the people, to an extent increasing education. The more enlightened, the more educated our citizens are, you will find out the more we're able to water down our differences.
It's been a long time now, and I think the mindset of a typical Nigerian possibly might need a lot of work. Let's even looking from a voting perspective. It has been known that people in the past would believe they can buy their votes by giving token to voters. How can we convince the Nigerians today that your vote is very important, choose your candidate right, and this is the only thing that would work for you?
There is enough convincing out there now. The insecurity is bad enough. The failing economy is bad enough. But where you have hopeless illiteracy, and I've always said that illiteracy is not just a disease as we call it, it is a disability.
Wow.
Illiteracy is a disability. All my life I've been engaged in education, either acquiring it or promoting it. And that is the tool, if I may say, that is the weapon for rescuing not just the masses, the whole country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is in education. And when we say education, we don't mean that everyone has to go out there and get a degree. No. Simple literacy for people to be able, and you get people to be literate, they are now able. So you have cancelled, you have eliminated the disability I was talking about. Then poor or lack of awareness is the disease. And then you get people increasingly aware about civic responsibilities, about social duties.
You know, one would also look at the Nigerian community and say the gap between the rich and the poor is so wide. It's very important to create some middle ground, which has been almost impossible by previous leaders. How can we look at this issue to make sure there's a good middle for Nigerians?
Well, people are free to express that kind of opinion that the rich between poor and rich is wide, but I think it is narrow. My argument is that in the presence of insecurity that we have in Nigeria today, the first wealth that you have is your security. And if your wealth does not guarantee you any better security if the poor is more secured than the wealthy. Then there is it has all been evened out. But conventional wisdom carries the day that the gap is so much, it is increasing. It's when you really analyze the facts on ground, the first thing that your wealth should give you is security.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the other way around
Wow.
in Nigeria.
Wow.
Except that in the last 10 years and with the coming of this government, we have seen it increasingly aggravated. That now the victims are innocent people in the villages, farmers and peasants and so on, in their communities being destroyed.
Wow.
Yes. So, and philosophically speaking, the gap should not be what worries or should not be the concern. It is the bottom. It is the minimum level of subsistence or existence of the lowest in the society that matters. Are the lowest able to afford decent feeding, decent accommodation, health care, transportation, education, and the rest? Any society that is able to deliver that, and then the gap becomes not so relevant anymore.
Wow.
So philosophically speaking, I am more after what is available at the bottom, not what is available at the top or what the gap is.
When we look at investment into countries, a lot of countries obviously invite foreign investors to work with them to increase output. One would look at Nigeria and look at the lack of infrastructure as a deterrent to foreign investment into Nigeria. What would you say about this issue, sir?
Apparently, I did my PhD in foreign direct investment.
Okay.
So I'm in particular into Nigeria and what it does for human capital development.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to 1999.
Wow.
Yeah. There are two ways to it. The absence of infrastructure, yes, is a hindrance in some regards.
Okay.
But then the lack of it also is a reason for some companies to come and invest.
Because there's a lot for them to do.
There is greater concerns about driving away foreign direct investment from Nigeria, despite our huge population. Of course, now the first one being insecurity. It didn't used to be the main driving for expelling or repellent. But now insecurity is the major repellent of foreign direct investment to Nigeria, which is a whole topic in its own.
Yeah.
I'm enumerating what the factors are.
Yeah.
The second is foreign exchange fluctuation. Nobody wants to convert foreign currency into the naira, and after a while, it is like it happened during the Buhari administration. Nigeria lost 60% of the value. That is scary, particularly for portfolio investors.
How could we create a balance?
Let me finish answering the fundamental question you asked. Then there is the public service, the well-known corruption that government has not been able to address, and the slow and cumbersome bureaucracy that we have.
Wow.
These all, and we keep saying that the Nigerian market is huge. Again, that one too is in relative terms. Population, yes, we have the population, but market is made of two components: the population and then the disposable income. That is where we're lacking. That's what you do to get the... So a small country like UAE with a minute proportion of Nigeria's population could have a bigger market than Nigeria simply because they have the disposable income.
yes, yes, yes. But what can we do to ensure, this is what I was trying to get at when I talked about the gap, you know, what are you hoping to create as a president to ensure that, because the typical Nigerian is quite hardworking and willing to work.
Very hardworking, indeed. Very
yes,
hard, yeah.
yes. So it is the environment that does not give the opportunity to do this. What can be done by government to ensure that people finish university, they have something to engage themselves in, and the fact that traveling abroad becomes so inviting to a typical Nigerian is because they don't believe there's any opportunity for them back at home. What can we do to make home more interesting to a Nigerian citizen?
Well, your question has so many answers, and it's really hard to know where to start from, but permit me to start with promoting living wage, which is a major pillar of my political philosophy. Any country that does not pay the lowest public servant a salary or a pay that takes him from the first day to the last day of the month, that country is not being realistic about solving its problems. This cannot be done in a day, and it cannot be done in a rush. And that is why I was quick to make the promise, by the special grace of God Almighty, that if I become the president, the salaries of June 2019 of all federal, except of course the CBNs and the NNPCs, you know, you can't afford to just increase theirs. I'm talking about the police, all security, I'm talking about teachers, civil servants, the standard public servants, I'm talking about those, will see a 50% increase in their June salaries.
Oh, wow.
Literally 50%.
Oh, wow.
And people will keep asking me, where are you going to find that money?
Yes,
I will come to that.
Say, yep.
I will come to that. And the balance of 250%, why I say 250% is because I plan to quadruple the earnings of the average Nigerian public servant within 4 years.
Wow.
And let me just tell you, I'm not a dreamer. When I say it, I mean it.
You've worked out
God
all
will deliver it.
Yes, you've worked out all the possibilities.
I've worked it out.
And they're doable.
Exactly. They're doable.
Wow. So
that is my promise to Nigerians. And you will see it happening from day one, and you will see it happening every month. So the balance of 250% will be spread over 47 months.
Wow.
Every month you're going to see an increase of 5.2883%.
Wow.
Literally.
Wow.
In your pay slip.
Wow.
This I want to do.
Wow.
So that you give back some meaning to the lives of Nigerians.
Wow.
And my ground zero is the police constable. I want the police constable to have some meaning, some humanity in his life.
Wow.
I want the police constable, and of course by extension I mean, you can imagine what goes up all the way. He can, in the next 4 years, aspire to afford decent accommodation, even if it is mortgage, for a 3 million, 3.5 million naira apartment in the next 15 to 20 years. That salary of 100,000 can finish paying it. But then we also have to stabilize the naira, which is another topic on its own. I will come to that. In such a way that what you are earning, the value remains about the same. And the ground zero, the police constable, can feed a family of 4, 5, not more than 6, good health care, clothing. What is next? Good training to the police. What is next? Good equipment to the police. And how do you seal it? Good morality. to the police.
Wow.
You need a leader who will communicate with each and every agent, functional agent of government. Connect so that you as the president now lead a quality revolution. That quality revolution means the police constable not to collect 15 around the road and to do his work a little better. The customs to do their work a little better. Immigration to do their work a little better. The Army, Air Force and Navy do their work. The public servants carrying files to do their work a little better without any inducement. When all these things come together, they add up to a quality revolution in which you have better security and a truly functional public service. That is not all. What you pay them does not stay with them. It also trickles to the
economy,
private sector. What do you do to the private sector? Connect with them. Leadership in Nigeria should not be about fancy speeches, should not be about economic development strategy framework and white papers and blue papers. It's about realistic actions that happen now and begin to give you results immediately.
Wow.
You lead a quality revolution in which all tradesmen, all artisans, all professions identify with you and your team as leaders in such a way that today the mechanic on the road know how to organize themselves, get better diagnostic equipment and fix cars better. The electrician know how to go and get the standard equipment, test, draw, everything, do that. So also goes to the plumbers, so goes to the carpenters, so goes to the hotel staff, so goes to catering and everybody. And when I was speaking about the public sector, I'm not forgetting, of course, the nurses in our hospitals and, of course, in my area, teachers in the classrooms from primary to secondary to teach a little better.
Wow.
And from that little better, it becomes better to a lot better, to international standard, because I know we can do it.
Wow. Wow.
We need a turning point that Nigerians say from today, from this government, I have logged on to a better country.
You know, one would look at what Nigeria has got and one would wonder why Nigeria remains where it is today. Would it be a succession of people who don't truly wish Nigeria well? Because all the leaders we've had have been Nigerians. I would expect that with the resources we have, they would have grown Nigeria beyond what it is today. One must continue to wonder, why are we where we are?
You ask very, very fundamental questions that the kind of answers, the kind of detailed answers I like to give. Each question you ask is a whole 1 hour.
Wow. Unfortunately.
But you see, Nigeria truly deserves better leaders. And we have seen a deterioration of leadership qualities. And the society too, I'm saying society in general, should now begin to take up some part of that responsibility, because it is not only one hand that is clapping. It is not only one hand that's the government that is hopelessly mismanaging Nigeria. Society itself has not played the kind of constructive roles it should have been playing. And that largely comes from, poor education that the government did not give, and so many other factors that we can go. Yeah, but what I'm saying in general is that society must complement the efforts of governance.
Yes.
Where you will know is when elections come. With what Nigeria has suffered in the last 3 years, you tend to wonder, have we truly learned our lessons with the kind of politics that we're now doing? Are the people able to unite despite their differences, that today our enemy in Nigeria is not the ethnicity or religion or the sect that anybody belongs. Our principal enemy in Nigeria is the declining value of the naira. So you see, the society is yet to learn its lesson. But I was impressed to see a group coming out to demonstrate against the killings that must stop. Society need to be able to hold their government to account.
Yes, yes.
And let the government know that we will not re-elect you, you have done badly. But right now, what the people feel is totally immaterial to any government in power. You can see, despite the killings, despite the economy on its knees, somehow APC won, they say won Ekiti State. And it's going to stay.
Wow.
Now society has a huge problem.
Wow.
Because where does government come from? Government comes from the society. Government, you take it, is just like a fruit.
Wow.
The tree
Wow.
producing the fruit.
Wow.
If the tree is good, that fruit is going to be good.
Wow, that's true.
So our society is also, how do you, society, you don't fix it in one day, you don't fix it in one way. We need positive culture, which is beyond that of a government, but it will always come back. We need sound, moral, and modern education.
Well, you know, some would look at Nigeria and say that we have been captured by a group of people. From a political perspective, it appears that the same people will continue to rule Nigeria. And I think coming to 2019, this is possibly the first time we've seen different groups standing up to say, we want to be part of the change. We have people who's never been in politics coming up to say, you know what, we want to do this. How does it feel? What do you think about this new uprising?
When I see it, I'll believe it. I'm a realist. See, this is what I'm saying. I don't believe in talk without action. And the first thing you ask me is, how do I differ?
Yes.
It's very simple. When I say it, I really mean it. And so the same question, the same answer I give to you. Those people should now say it, mean it, and do it.
Wow.
They should come out, do everything that is humanly, constitutionally, legally, legitimately possible and allowed. You know, we need change. These are the kind of leaders that we need.
Wow. Wow.
Stick by it. Go and get, first of all, get their PVCs. And make sure they don't remain in the comfort of their homes, doing social media and saying everything. Actually go out there. If you know what you know, if you know the right thing, then for God's sake, go out there and fight the illiteracy that we're talking about. In that case, you would have added some value. Because if you're one and tomorrow you become two, and the next day those two become two each, you see, then there's a geometric progression about the change you want to bring.
Okay. In your opinion, sir, what sort of personality do you think would be right to govern a country like Nigeria?
A personality that is devoid of governance controversies. Governance controversies is split into corruption and you know, the misapplication of power. Personalities that are devoid of those controversies, personalities that have something to show positive that they've done with their careers and with their lives.
Definitely.
Two things.
Yes, good track
careers
record. Yeah.
And lives.
Yeah, definitely.
And then personalities that have shown the capacity of saying it, meaning it, and doing it.
Wow. Wow, we can't talk about Nigeria and not talk about security. In fact, you can't talk about any country and not talk about security. This has been something that seemed to have been plaguing us for quite a while. Security issues. How do we stabilize our security?
Now, I refer you to 2014, 2015, when the current governing or ruling APC were challenging PDP about security. And I tend to ask the question, how did they know all that was going on? You see, security is a very, very difficult issue. If you are not formally and officially briefed, all you can say is that there are killings taking place out there. All I can tell you is that there are killings taking place out there until the day that I have the official privilege of being briefed
as to why
by the correct offices, then I can tell you this is it.
Wow.
Now, any politician that plays politics with security is very irresponsible.
Wow. Wow.
Security is so important that political parties should work together to see that
that is achieved.
That enemies you call political parties, they should work together.
Wow.
But we have seen parties using politics, using insecurity as politics. Now, one thing for sure, I will not do that.
Yes. Yes.
I know there is insecurity, killings, terror, communal clashes, violent crimes, disorder.
Wow.
In that order that I listed them.
Wow.
We know that they are. But being that, one, I don't play politics with security. Two, I don't discuss politics. I don't discuss security in public. I put it in a very simple way. That we are going to account for every square meter of the Nigerian territory.
Wow. Wow.
As a form of bringing security to Nigeria.
Wow.
As for violent crimes, we're going to get our security machinery in top form.
Wow.
To bring it to the lowest bearable limits.
Wow, wow. I could stay here all day and talk to you, but there are a few more points that I feel are very important.
I can talk to you all day too.
You know, we've talked about investors coming into Nigeria. We talk about infrastructure. The other thing I want to talk about is power. Again, this seems to be something that unbelievably in 2018, a country like Nigeria could not boast of consistent power. What are your thoughts on the issue of power and how do you intend to tackle this?
Do you remember the comments of Fashola when he was governor of Lagos State regarding power? That within 6 months he will provide power?
Yeah.
Now he's been Minister of Power and all the money that has been spent, power generation and distribution has declined. Now, this again brings us to who and what I am. I would just like to tell you the truth. I have been asked this question many, many times. And I begin with an apology that if my answer is not sweet music to your ears, then forgive me.
Okay.
But look, I will not lie to anybody simply because I want their votes. I will tell them strictly what is possible.
Yeah.
Now, put aside the fact that the present government played politics with everything, all and everything. And what I'm going to tell you is the problem of power is best solved by the private sector. But I intend to provide all the basics for the private sector
to be able to solve that matter.
Problem. But let me tell you very quickly, because you didn't ask me what the economic fundamentals are. After providing security and there is relative comfort for funds to flow into Nigeria and the currency you have convinced the world that Naira is now going to be stable for 10 to 12 years, being in power or not in power. And companies, corporations, individuals are comfortable to change their money. What's going to happen? Nigerian banks are going to be awash with loanable funds, because the interest rate that we're paying is at least twice what is being paid in deposit rates elsewhere and others. It is foreign exchange fluctuation risks that makes Nigerian markets much riskier the moment you mitigate or eliminate that risk. And your government is willing to back it with the price of crude oil, with your foreign reserves, with your other official ingenious methods of sourcing, including our good friends, Nigerian expatriates abroad.
Actually, that's a very
We're going to make good use of you. Okay, let me answer your question on power. And then bring down interest rates through the other methods after the foreign exchange to civic risks mitigation, and 3, business risks mitigation. Well, I can't go into details of those now, in such a way that you have 7 and 8% for mortgages, for industries long term, and you have 9 and 10% for mid-term, and then 11 and 12% for short-term lending. If you're able to do that, then you have got the economy on sound footing that global corporations can rush into Nigeria with all the confidence to sort out your power problem immediately. And with solar, with micro solar stations, you don't need to wire every hamlet in every village, in every local government of the states in Nigeria. Artisans, tradesmen and others can simply use what is now technologically viable, and you cut them from the national grid. They don't, a barber, for God's sake, doesn't have to go on the national grid. So many more of those electricians, carpenters, and so on and so forth, mechanics, and even when they become organized into small groups and clusters, they don't have to go onto the national grid. And this is technology doing it for you. So with the economy being good, you have Nigerians who can now release equity from their properties, borrow from the banks, import from China, from India, from any country in this world, and the money, the economy starts going. Of course, the most important place is the hospitals and the schools. The schools in particular that I know, which we intend to use nearly 24 hours, of course will be powered by solar, for sure. Police stations, for example, 24-hour power by solar. What you call number plates now are really not number plates in Nigeria. We're going to improve security by identifying vehicles. Of course, if we can identify vehicles, every Nigerian and every birth will be, and death will be recorded accordingly. With the technologies we have now, we can have small clusters of our young graduates engaged to go and register each and every Nigerian, so that the banking sector catches you. You can eliminate kidnapping simply by biometrics and voice recognition. So I believe in technology. We're going to heavily use technology. Nigerian roads, how many thousands of kilometers? Cover them by CCTV cameras. Armed robbery on our highways? No way. Within minutes, we'll be there. Our communities to be attacked overnight and you don't know who did it? Not possible. Not possible.
So why?
Because the technology is there, will have, every community is going to have, whoever is coming, whoever is going out, will be known. So you cannot kill Nigerians anymore. If you do, the government will get you.
Wow. 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 You mentioned a bit about the diaspora community. I know that they do remit a lot to Nigeria now and helping oil the Nigerian economy. If you become president, what do you intend to do with the diaspora community?
I intend to become their friends. Their friend. No, on a serious note, you think they're sending a lot. I think they can do a lot better. For example, if I were to come to the UK as a president, by God's grace, after official engagements in the daytime, I stay up really, really late. And that's why you need a young man. I stay up really, really late. And at night, we'll hold a party, dinner and everything. And all you professionals, I will find a huge hall and we sit together and rub minds. Yab you for a bit, you know, because you need to be doing better than what you're doing. If you've been sending they said $5 billion or so? No, come on, you can do better than that. And it doesn't have to be overnight. All those of you who have 2 or 3 properties to your name, I'm not saying sell it, I'm not saying leave your comfort. Stay where you are, enjoy your comfort. Release equity and for God's sake, start sending money back to Nigeria to create the kind of business that you're doing here. The medical doctors in the UK can rescue the Nigerian health sector. Simple.
Wow.
Whatever their problems are, land, I'll sort it out. Immediately. Power, I'll sort it out.
Wow.
Is it importation? I'll sort it out. And when I say it, I mean immediately. You can import your equipment and clear it 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
And nobody harasses you.
Wow. We all want to come back home.
Please
we
do.
all want to come back home. But
One of the best decisions I took in my life was to go back to Nigeria when I got to the stage of finishing my PhD.
Wow.
And I have not regretted since then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I'll be following very, very soon.
Yeah.
We are planning on that.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I'm very interested about is, again, the resources Nigeria has. I've heard numerous stories.
Can I interrupt you?
Yes, please.
The best resource is the human being. Never mind gold or diamond or anything. And what is the resource in us? The human being?
The brain.
The brain. And then the mind. There is no physical structure of the mind, of course. It's an imaginary structure of the mind. Organ.
Yes.
It's an imaginary organ. So if you build the mind, it is that mind. If you build the brains of Nigerians, that is what we're going to use to develop Nigeria. Not what is below our feet. Not those resources.
Wow.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Resources are not gold, diamond, crude oil, and so on and so forth. Yes, we are richly, richly endowed. If you have those and you don't have sense, you have war.
Wow.
And I've been saying it.
Wow.
When the earth shakes and destroys a country, when the wind blows and blows away countries, if they have good leaders with the right senses, with the correct mind and everything, give them 6 months, those countries are back. Look at Japan. Hit almost every year. Japan only keeps getting stronger and stronger. The West Indies has been happening, Turkey, Iran, all over the world. They keep being hit by natural disasters. But human disaster, the moment you have one bad leader, the earth in your country is going to be shaken from bombs being dropped.
Wow.
So please, those natural resources are resources, but the real resource is the human mind. And I have been, I am proven to have been in the business of developing human minds. In my working career, I have been able to educate at least 11,000
Whoa.
people
Whoa.
from my
Wow.
secondary schools and from the university.
Oh, wow.
I believe with federal resources, I can
Be much
educate
more.
110 million Nigerians.
Wow. Wow.
It's left for you to go and find out.
Wow.
This is real data on the ground. It's for you to extrapolate.
Wow. Wow. And the other thing I want to find out is, why is PDP your party of choice?
Yes, thank you. If there are individuals whom the PDP has suffered from, I believe I'm one of them. PDP had never been the same since I joined politics in my area.
Oh, wow.
The first thing I did was to take their House of Rep seat. And then there's a governor who was for 2 terms and in the Senate, and I took his seat before going back to court and come back. And I gave them very good run for their money.
Okay.
But look at it this way. 22 out of 24 governors in the so-called APC today are directly from PDP. At least 70% of Buhari's cabinet, including a former PDP chairman, are from the PDP. And the same goes to federal and state appointments and so on and so forth. The so-called APC you see today are the renegade, disgruntled losers of PDP, who left PDP simply because they could not afford to contest therein in 2015. That is a fact of the matter. It is a fact of life.
Wow.
And Buhari and APC then was so desperate to get to power, they could hold on to anything. Whoever you are, whatever the money you're bringing, whatever the source, just bring it. That happened. And nobody has called APC to account up to today for their campaign funds. But I've been talking about it at substantial risk to myself.
Wow.
Yes. Now, for a party to suffer the kind of outflux and retribution that PDP suffered and still command the kind of national spread it has, then that party is truly a national party. But let me tell you, I did not set out trying to go into PDP. Up till around this time last year, I felt it should neither be APC nor PDP, and I went about registering a party called People's Trust, which is now registered. You can find it online.
Okay. Okay.
But coming to realize that Nigerians themselves are not that easy, are not that easy to manage politically.
Yeah.
It's got to be a party that has personnel and structures in each and every ward. So I took PDP for a truly national party that has withered the storm. Add to the fact that they said they have now realized their mistake and are ready to correct it.
Okay.
So why don't I give it? And I'm not in politics, I'm not contesting 2015 just to acquire experience. I'm not joking.
Wow. Wow.
Nigeria is only a couple of years away from complete breakdown of law and order. I genuinely believe. So we don't have the luxury of time. I think it's got to be now or never to rescue Nigeria.
Wow. Wow. Is there any contender that who do you see as your main contenders? Who do you feel you need to watch out for? Do you think there's any strong candidate that you might be pitching against?
Anybody is free to come. I'm ready to face anyone.
Oh, wow.
I'm not looking at individuals really. I am overwhelmed by the problems of the country. Because when the naira hits 750 naira to the dollar, salaries are going to become child's play. Salaries, I'm talking about, of our security agents. So what do you think the army who are holding rifles and the police who are holding rifles, and what happens to those in the armory? Who will they then belong to?
Wow.
Now, if they take charge of those, that is the beginning of anarchy, and that is the end of any country. Now, my fear is that during Buhari, the dollar rose from about 195 to 520, when some people were making 200 naira per dollar. Until Oshibanjo, because he's an educationist and because he has sense, and because he listens to his people, and because his people called him and told him they are the ones paying tuition fees abroad, not Buhari's people.
Wow.
When Buhari fell ill, Oshibanjo decided to stop giving those people who are making 200 naira per dollar and to the banks to pay tuition fees and basic travel allowance and to BDCs. That's when Oshibanjo managed it down to 365.
Wow.
Which is still a far cry from the 195, 165, that era. It's a Now my fear is that if Buhari could mismanage Nigeria to 520, it is easy to mismanage it to 750. Wow. 750 is the breaking point.
Wow. 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 Wow.
At 750, nobody's salary means anything in Naira.
Wow. 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 You know, lastly, I'd like to give you an opportunity to speak to our viewers just about what to expect from you as president.
Hello, Nigerians. We are as responsible as the failing governments are in bringing the right government. If you are able to see the right facts and do the right things and bring in the right government, I can assure you economic prosperity, I can show you better security, and I can show you political stability in Nigeria. Thank you.
Wow, Mr. Datti, thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best, and we look forward to a great, prosperous Nigeria.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.